Hello everybody and welcome to my week 5 team builder video against Kangaroo Jolty and the South Norfolk Noiverns. So he has a team of Skarmory, Cresselia, Salazzle, Dragalge, Flygon, Mudstill, Venusaur, Mega, Suicune, Thundurus, Therian, Virizion, and Lycanroc Midnight. So this week I'll be bringing a team of Talonflame, Sylveon, Zapdos, Delphox, Zygarde, and Jellicent. So first up is my Talonflame, and I think Talonflame's very good offensively this match. It's the fastest thing. It's faster than his entire team unless they're boosted by Scarf or by speed boosting move. And flying plus fire coverage destroys his team. His only his only resists to flying are Skarmory, which gets destroyed by Flare Blitz, and Lycanroc Midnight, which I don't think is a particularly good bring against my team, and it's not a very bulky Pokemon, and it's taking quite a bit of damage from a Brave Bird anyways. Actually, I'll throw it into calc. Lycanroc Midnight. It's taking like 34 to, or like basically a little bit more than a third. So nothing switches well into Talonflame, and it's faster than his entire team and forces a lot of switches. It defensively checks Venusaur and Venusaur and Virizion and Skarmory. All of them invite Talonflame to come in and start destroying things. It has SD to set up on all three of these things, which can't threaten it. And it's got the Sky Plate to make its flying type moves even more strong and hard to deal with, because the only things I will have to be Flare Blitzing are his Thundurus and his Skarmory, and Skarmory doesn't threaten me anyways, so I don't need to have the stronger fire moves, because I can just kill it over time with multiple Flare Blitzes and set up SDs in its face really if I want to. And in the case of Thundurus, I'm never going to be staying in unless I hit it with a Brave Bird first. And yeah, I do appreciate the extra Flare Blitz damage on Thundurus, but with a Sky Plate, Brave Bird into Flare Blitz will kill Thundurus, which is good. So I think the Sky Plate's better just to make its flying stab more spammable. That also gives it an easier time killing Venusaur. So next up is Sylveon. This is my primary answer to his Thundurus, because I do not like the fact that Thundurus can run coverage moves to hit almost everything else on my team hard. I do have two solid ground types, but Crocodile can get absolutely smashed by a Phytinium Z, and Zygarde can get HP Ice very easily. So Sylveon has a massive special bulk and the ability to set up a light screen on it. Light screen is absolutely fantastic against this team, especially with light clay as my Sylveon has. All of his attackers on his team, or the vast majority of his team, is special. Salazzle, Dragalge, Thundurus, Virizion could be either or, Venusaur could be either or. He has a very defensive team. A lot of very fat Pokemon. Skarmory very fat and defensive, Grass very fat and defensive, Venusaur very fat and defensive, Mudstill very fat and defensive. A large portion of his team are very fat defensive Pokemon that really don't threaten much. So yeah, his Pokemon that do threaten things, being his Salazzle, his Dragalge, his Thundurus, all get all have their attacking ability neutered by light screen. So Sylveon, the Sylveon set has issues with Thundurus only if he's Nasty Plot, and Nasty Plot's the turn Sylveon switches in on it, and then has Electrium Z and hits it with an Electrium Z. And that is a roll in his favor to kill, but it does not always kill. Still not ideal, and if he does Nasty Plot in the switch, then I will have to scout. However, my opponent has brought Thundurus Theory in every game this season and has not Nasty Plotted once. So I'm hopeful that he'll just continue clicking attacking buttons and not nasty plotting as he has. But if he does nasty plot, I may have to scout. I don't think Electrium Z is really the Z move to bring against me, because the checks to Thunderous are things like, or the checks you would be expecting for a Thunderous are things on my team are things like Crocodile, like Zygarde, maybe even Shaman. I don't think Electrium Z is what you should be bringing to beat my team. Even Lantern you might be scared of. I mean, Lantern doesn't really do much back, but still. The ability Wish, if it's not a nasty plot variant, then Sylveon can completely wall Thunderous and gradually kill it over time with Hyper Voice. Otherwise, I could step the light screen, Wish, and pass into anything else, and threaten the Thunderous out. Next is my Zapdos. Similar to Talonflame, its typing allows it to do a lot this game. Where are we? Zapdos does a great job coming in on and dealing with Venusaur and Skarmory and Virizion. Much more defensively than Talonflame does, but Zapdos is very vital to bring as an answer to Skarmory because it has Defog. Because for Talonflame to continue operating and being effective, Rocks absolutely need to stay off the field, and his only rocker is Skarmory. So Rocks will, like Correct Midnight is also a rocker, but it's more of an offensive Pokemon, and I really doubt Rocks will be on it. But Zapdos always beats Skarmory one-on-one and will keep Rocks off the field, which is important. So Zapdos is mainly here for keeping Rocks off the field, but its typing also does allow it to do a lot. It's also probably my best check to his Skarmory, or not his Skarmory, his Flygon, just because it's immune to ground type, and to kill it has even Outrage from like timid Flygon, which it should be because it needs to outspeed Zygarde. Has a actually I don't think it ever 2-hit kills Zapdos, and requires him to risk getting staticked, which once again I have caught in the Teambuilder. Need to have static on the Zapdos. He has to risk getting staticked. Hidden Power Flying is for the Venusaur. This does well with dealing with Venusaur. And with the Venusaur and the Virizion. Also my best move to hit Flygon. And Discharge is good for spreading paralysis and hitting his Suicune if I need to. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, and Discharge is my primary move for hitting Skarmory with as well. I do have to be careful with this because it does invite Thunderous in. So I do need to be careful about that. But, yeah. Next up is my Delphox. Delphox also, just like Talonflame, has a fantastic matchup in terms of typing and speed tier. Its choice specs with Psychic, Overheat, Flamethrower, and Stab in this game is absolutely amazing. What switch into Overheat? The answer, Suicune and maybe Cresselia. Everything else does not appreciate it. Maybe Dragalge too. But nothing on his team besides Cresselia can take both of its stabs reliably. Maybe Suicune might be able to take one, but I mean it's not taking Psychic well at all. And Cress, it just really isn't too much of a threat in general. And if I hit it with if I can whittle it, even Flamethrower will probably start to break it. But its stab is very difficult for him to deal with. And the only Pokemon he has that are faster than it are Virizion, which really doesn't have many moves to threaten it. I resist both of its stabs. And his Salazzle, which he actually hasn't brought this year, or brought this season, which I hope he'll continue to, because, I mean, it's not too scary, but that is one of his other things that outspeeds my Delphox. But yeah, with Specs, it becomes scarily strong. Specs, Overheat, O-Coast, Thunderous, which is very important and outspeeds it. And even if he's a Scarf variant of Thunderous, he does not have the power to kill me if he's Scarf. So there's no way Delphox loses one-on-one against Thunderous if they're both out in the field at the same time. So yeah, Trick is there for a way of dealing with Cresselia. So Cresselia is the kind of Pokemon where it doesn't really, it doesn't threaten you, but if you're not prepared for it, it'll kind of just like not die, and you'll have no way of killing it. So one of my ways of dealing with it is to trick the choice specs onto it, which really neuters Cresselia's ability to do anything. If I'm doing this, I do have to be careful, because it may be useful for me to still have my choice specs on my Delphox, but I have that option if I want to neuter his Cresselia. Next up is my Zygarde, and Zygarde has a very good matchup as well. In terms of typing, he does not have. He has a single 1,000 arrow resist, and that is Virizion. No, Virizion is definitely a solid answer. It takes 1,000 arrows pretty well, especially if it's physically defensive, and if it runs HP Ice, it can hit back pretty hard. I do have Zen Headbutt on it to hit it on a prediction if I need to, but the vast majority of his team really does not appreciate 1,000 arrows from Zygarde. Skarmory, 2-hit killed. Cresselia, I mean, it hits it just as hard as pretty much anything else, but I mean, Cresselia's not dying, getting 2-hit killed by almost anything in the game. Salazzle dies many times over. Dragalge, oops, I did not mean to highlight that. Dragalge dies. Flygon doesn't take it well, but it will live it. Venusaur doesn't resist. Mudsteel takes it actually pretty well, better than most things, but Mudsteel doesn't really threaten back very much at all, actually. Suicune does not take it well. Thundurus gets killed by it and only can threaten back with HP Ice, which I really switch well into. So yeah, pretty much just Virizion. Zen Headbutt is also there for the Venusaur. Outrage is there just in case if I need that damage. And then Extreme Speed is there just for the utility. Extreme Speed is always nice to have in case you come into a scenario where you need it. Max HP, max attack, because my opponent's team has a theme going on where he has two categories of Pokemon, at least the way I see it. He's got the fat stuff and the fast stuff. So his fast stuff is his offensive things. These are Salazzle, Flygon, Thundurus, Virizion. All four of these Pokemon want to run speed, and all four of these Pokemon happen to be faster than Zygarde. The rest of his team, Skarmory, Cresselia, Dragalge, Mudsteel, Venusaur, Suicune, and Lycanroc, which I'll get to after. All of them, except for Lycanroc, do not want to run speed at all. They want to be more bulky. So Zygarde's kind of caught in the middle of all those, because Zygarde's faster than all of the fat stuff and slower than all of the fast stuff. So I do not see a reason to run HP or run any speed on it, because like, what Suicune is going to be trying to outrun a Zygarde? I mean, maybe he does, but even then, it's not super useful for him to. And to be honest, I'd just rather risk him actually speed creeping a Suicune and have the extra bulk than not. And I mean, like, Suicune and Venusaur, which are really the two nearest things that he could speed creep on. Like, they're really not things you ever want to run speed on. Lycanroc, on the other hand, definitely something that's a thing to outspeed. But if I want to outspeed timid Lycanroc, then I do need a lot of investment. And every time he's brought Lycanroc, it's been Rock Polish anyways, where my speed wouldn't benefit me regardless. And Zygarde already naturally checks Lycanroc extremely well. It doesn't necessarily need to move before it to check it, because Lycanroc doesn't have anything to really hit Zygarde hard with. And Zygarde probably checks Lycanroc better anyways with more HP, especially if it's a Rock Polish variant. So yeah, that's a Zygarde. Lastly is my Jellicent. Jellicent's here mainly because it has great Spit F, like my like Sylveon, but also because it resists poison. And his two scariest Pokemon to me, Dragalge and Salazzle, are poison types, and it does well against both of them. So with my core of Sylveon and Jellicent, because all of his three Pokemon besides Flygon that actually can do something offensively should be kept at bay by my core of Jellicent and Sylveon. Jellicent does a good job with walling both of them well. It just doesn't do too great fighting back against them. I mean, it can slowly. It doesn't really do anything against Dragalge, to be honest. But as you'll see later, the other moves are completely necessary. It does wall it, and I can gradually scald it to death, and then eventually burn it if I need to, which should allow me to win any 1v1 against it, because it cannot 2-hit kill me with any given set of moves, even if he specs. And same thing with Salazzle, except Salazzle I can heavily fight back against with Scald. But one of the other things I need Jellicent for is the ability to stop Suicune. Because without Jellicent on my team, like what exactly here is stopping Suicune? Like maybe Zapdos. If it gets a few Calm Minds up, Zapdos isn't even a great threat. But there's absolutely nothing Suicune can do to touch Jellicent. Likewise, Jellicent has a very hard time breaking a Suicune. But with Taunt, I can prevent it from resting and healing itself. With Toxic, I can poison it and make it start wearing itself down. And with the combination of Taunt and Toxic, I can really threaten the Suicune. And it's like, if it's ever gonna beat my Jellicent 1-on-1, it's gonna be through like pressure stalling. And even then, like I'll be able to keep it from recovering until it gets low, possibly switch in on predictions and force it into only attacking moves, which none of which can ever really do anything to a Jellicent. So yeah, I need the combination of Taunt and Toxic to be able to effectively pressure a Suicune, and Recover is just absolutely essential. And Scald is there for good stab and hitting Salazzle. So yeah, that's a Jellicent. So yeah, that's the team. Whoops. For Skarm, I've got Zapdos and Talonflame for. Oh yeah, also Taunt and Toxic is great against Cresselia. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, for Skarm or for Cresselia, I've got a bunch of things that hit very hard. Mainly my specs. Delphox and my Choice Band Zygarde. Specs Delphox, especially because it has Trick in order to neuter it, and Jellicent in order to Toxic Taunt stall it. Salazzle I've got Jellicent for, Dragalge I've got Jellicent for. Flygon I don't switch particularly well into, but I guess Zapdos can deal with it okay. Mudsdale is not a super threatening Pokemon. Zapdos deals with it decently well. Jellicent deals with it decently well, probably. Venusaur, Zapdos, and Talonflame deal with well. Suicune, my Jellicent deals with. Thundurus, my Sylveon, hopefully deals with. It should be able to, or at the very least, take advantage of it and be able to set up a light screen so that everything else on the team deals with Thundurus decently well. And the light screen with Light Clay will last a very long time and allow my team to do a lot of work underneath it. For Izyan, I've got Zapdos and Talonflame for, and Lycanroc, I've got my Zygarde. So, all my offensive Pokemon on my team, I feel he does not have extremely good answers for me in Talonflame, Delphox, and Zygarde. And my defensive core, I think, will be pretty difficult for him to break through. And yeah, hopefully we can come up with a win.